to the DNVR Rockies podcast, brought to you by Strava Craft Coffee. Remember to use the promo code DNVR25. When you do that, you get 25% off your entire purchase of that CBD-infused, deliciously rich, and potentially life-altering Strava Craft Coffee. I'm your host, Drew Creasman. I'm the managing editor of DNVR Rockies. With me, as always, though technically for the first time, all three of us being in the same room. I think actually, right? A little too sweet. Makayla Perkins, Patrick Lyons in studio discussing a salvaged Colorado Rockies win. They lost the series, we all know that, but who cares? Josh Fuentes, 3, San Diego Padres, 2. How about that?
You'll love to see it. It was not a great series up until 10 minutes ago-ish when Josh Fuentes decided to show up, show out, get the walk-off, and Rocks win a game.
They sure did.
Stop a 6-game lose streak, so we love to see it.
We just couldn't believe that we're talking about the Rockies winning an extra inning game, and it was so long. Yeah. They won in 8.
In 8. Right.
They won in 8.
Extra innings in 8. Well, we're still getting used to that. But really, after game 1 was just a nightmare of a game that the Rockies were not at all competitive in. Really a good day of baseball. Game 2, they had every opportunity to win. They had actually several opportunities to win and didn't end up getting the job done. But you liked seeing him come through on a day where John Gray maybe wasn't his best, but had some good stuff, kept him in the game. And then as we talk about, anytime you get a walk-off win in your home ballpark, you feel pretty good about yourself. The first in Josh Fuentes' career, we know he's been also, Patrick, kind of eating it at the plate a little bit this year, so that also had to feel good for him on an individual level.
Yeah, it was his first home run in close to a month. Got his shirt ripped off for watching the post-game here, and he is smothered. I mean, he's... For better or worse, he can be the heart and soul of this team in a lot of ways. Right. And, he's been quiet with the emergence of some other guys. Connor Joe coming in, Ryan McMahon getting regular starts there at third base, Alan Trejo getting an opportunity, Garrett Hampson. And he's been forgotten about, but he's not been completely forgotten because he got that opportunity today. The big 2-run home run that staked him to the league, that was enough for most of it.
Yeah.
And need to do a little something extra, and the cousin got it done.
Yeah. Cousin was called
upon.
One
of the cousins.
Once again, not only was it Josh Fuentes' first home run in about a month, Makayla, it was also the Rockies' first home run in about 6 games. He was due, they were due for some offense, and they got it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Rockies' offense has been a little slow, to put it in a way that's nicer than...
That's right. Makayla's been practicing her political...
My political correctness. Yeah, the offense, oh boy, they need to pick it up a little bit. It's a little slow. It's a little sleepy. The bullpen pitching hasn't been great. But it's,
it's 2021 Rockies. The hangover is supposed to happen after they leave Coors, not when they come back.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, again, so the offense in game 1 of this set, dreadful, terrible.
So bad.
No good. They get that first inning run from Tapia without even the benefit of a base hit. He draws a walk, he steals a base, they move him over, they move him in. And they get that, and that was their only run of that game. In the second 2 games, though, I thought we did see a little more life. They out-hit the Padres in the game they lost today. They got 9 hits in that game. They didn't get the big one. They had 2 there with the bases loaded late. Raimel Tapia had an opportunity, didn't come through. Elias Diaz with a 10-pitch at bat dumps one into shallow right field, and the series win was right there to be had. Nice catch from Austin Nola. You tip your cap, but they were that close.
Austin Nola, catcher,
second baseman.
We were all saying in the press box, we were like, who got that? And I'm like, 26, looking at my scorecard. I'm like, Austin Nola. The Rockies got Walters.
They got
out Walters with their catcher playing second base for the first time since Little League, essentially.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. But it was exciting. It was compelling.
Right?
The stadium was alive.
Yeah.
The stadium was alive. It was very strange if you were there at the ballpark. It kind of emptied out after the first game.
Yeah.
Which was very strange. I don't know if people left and they thought they were going to come back, and they said, let's go hang out at Lodo. Let's check out the DNVR bar. Probably. Get here for an Avalanche watch party. Could have been something like that. But one of the most exciting parts, and you tweeted about it, we were there together. We both close to goosebumps. But it was just cool to see the entire Coors Field crowd get behind Connor Joe.
I'll go beyond that. I had full goosebumps. I've been watching baseball games at Coors Field since Coors Field has existed. I was there in '95 when it opened up. I'm that old, Makayla. But I was
you were an embryo. You were an embryo in '95, right?
Then. I was about 9 years old. I would have been, and I've seen a lot of stuff. I was there for the blackout day when they won the NLDS. Ubaldo Jimenez, the whole game. I wasn't at the stadium, but obviously I watched every second of game 163 in 2007. But there was something about a half-empty stadium at the first of the day game of a doubleheader with all of a sudden the winning run out there for a guy who's fought and clawed to get back into Major League Baseball. And out of nowhere, completely organically, Joe. And I was just like, yes, what is this? Inject this into my veins. It gave me shivers. I'm sure it gave Connor Joe shivers.
It definitely gave Spencer Smith shivers.
Totally.
That's his dude.
That's his dude.
For better or for worse.
Dare I say, he has now surpassed Daniel Murphy for fifth place all time on players who've worn number 9. He's now 5th place ahead of Daniel Murphy.
You know what? I'll take it.
Put in the books.
You know, he was, in addition to that moment, because all he ended up doing was walking there in a big moment. And you're like, I thought if it's a movie or a television show, he hits one in the gap and the Rockies win, because you could feel this place just come alive for this young man who's making, his moment. This is his opportunity. Right? We've been talking a lot about opportunity. I don't know that Connor Joe is going to be much of a thing. We may not talk about him after this. He may be Steven Cardullo, but he may not. We don't know yet. And apparently, Makayla, pitcher's afraid to throw this guy a strike.
Yeah, they weren't even getting close to the zone for him. They were pitching all around that zone.
Blake Snell walked him on 4.
Yep.
Got to be careful with Connor Joe.
And he's not expanding the strike zone, too, which is something that young, or in this case, just more inexperienced big leaguers are going to do. We've seen McMahon do that a little bit over the last few weeks after his big start. He'll readjust. He'll be fine. But for Joe to immediately come up and just go, well, look, if they don't give me anything to hit, I'm going to walk down to first base. And that's got a lot of value. Scott Hatterberg was that guy. The Oakland Athletics were able to identify that in Moneyball. Chris Pratt, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Uh-huh.
But
Star-Lord.
Yeah, right. Star-Lord. You know what? He had a very high OPS. Right. But Scott Hatterberg was the guy that Chris Pratt was modeled after.
Right.
Yes, he was the real Star-Lord.
That's right.
Scott Hatterberg.
That's 100% right.
And Connor Joe's not feeling the pressure. He's doing his thing over there on first base. So you know what? That's fine. Again, young players can learn from stuff like that. Like, wow, this guy is essentially, this is his first time in the bigs for a long time, right?
Yeah.
After
a
basically
cup of coffee, as they say.
In 2019 to open the season with the Giants, even started on opening day. But you're like, wow, all right, who is this guy? He's very composed, right? Connor Joe, composed. Real American hero. Let's make it happen.
I'm 100% in on the Connor Joe thing, and it may only last for another couple of weeks. We really don't know. It could last for years, but yeah, I was so into the Joe chant, like it because of how organic it was. Just because I'm not sure the fans knew. I can't believe that all the fans there knew who Connor Joe was. They just came together as a community in that moment. They wanted to see this guy succeed. They wanted to see their team get it. And they felt a momentum thing. There was just something in the air about it. So,
and I think it started behind the Padres dugout.
It did.
Which is kind of strange because you go, all right, that's where the Padres fans are going to be.
And there was a unique cadence to it like we were doing earlier. Like there's never been a chant at Coors Field like that. It wasn't prompted by the scoreboard saying, hey, big noise, or chant this, or doing the clap, 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 so everyone can yell too low. Like, it was just the fans going, Joe, trying to will him to success. More of it, more Connor Joe, more fans chanting for Connor Joe. One other thing I want to talk about today that shouldn't get lost in it, and let's do an old school thing. Let's pretend like the Rockies have had a competitive season and they're in the middle of it, right? Let's strip everything else away. John Gray.
Yep.
Looked good.
Pitching a heck of a ball game.
Looked good.
Out there in the 5th, all of a sudden bases are loaded. Looks like he's losing a little bit, but he hasn't allowed a run yet. He's been fantastic this season. Easily the Rockies' best pitcher. But he takes him out. 3 pitches later, grand slam. That's brutal. What'd you think of the move?
Well, go ahead, Makayla. Do you have thoughts?
I was just going to say, I would have left him in. I know a lot of people agree with that. I don't think that was the appropriate time to take him out. So, unfortunately, I disagree. I feel like, I don't know. Hold on, I'm trying to see.
Stevenson came in.
Yes, yeah.
Got behind early, 2-0.
Right.
Caratini.
Yeah, he walked.
Big boom.
He walked 2. He had an error, right?
Oh, and the error behind him.
Trey,
The error
so
behind him.
that's why there's only one earned run
right.
Given to Gray there.
Right.
Even though
it seemed like the wheels were falling off the wagon a little bit, but I still think you leave him in that situation. The Rockies bullpen is imploding. It hasn't been good pretty much all season long so far. There, of course, have been a few bright spots in there. Some really good performances every now and then by individuals, but for the most part, the bullpen has been the Rockies, has been plaguing the Rockies all season long. So I know that it might have seemed like the wheels were starting to fall off John Gray's wagon, but I still think you leave him in a little bit longer and just see if he can work out of that little bit of mess he created. But I'm not a manager, so.
That was not anymore. Used to be.
Yeah.
Now, that was kind of our take, too. And you go, well, why? Why would you take him out in a spot like that? So, if it goes well for Gray and you leave him in that spot, you go, well, great. That's exactly what you want out of him.
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't go well? What if he does give up bases clearing double? Now you might have lost him for a little bit. And it's a long season.
Right.
Again, it's not a playoff spot. You don't need him to be that ace that's going to go 7 innings, whatever it is. But you say, you know what, maybe another day we'll have you go in this tough spot and see if you can get out of this jam that you've created. But right now, things are going really well. Someone else is essentially going to get charged with a lot of that because they're all unearned runs. So, you know what, let's go ahead and let's go to the bullpen and try to win the game.
And that's, the reason why you can't do what I said at the beginning, which is totally pretend like the Rockies are fighting for the NL West, because they're not. And you can't, it was also interesting because it's not like the Rockies have made it clear that they're showcasing John Gray for a trade either. So you also, you wonder because maybe if you're not worried about this guy being a part of your long-term future, you don't do what Patrick just said. You don't worry about that. You go, I don't know, prove it. Because if he comes out on the other side, it's a risk-reward situation. You come out on top, you can showcase that other teams. Look at this big spot he got out of, and he's got this great ERA this year. Come give us a lot for him in a trade. But if you think he might be a part of your long-term future, maybe you're trying to protect him a little bit more. So, that's kind of interesting.
You might even just be protecting him for other teams and go, look, if he can't get out of this spot against the Padres, and again, we're only talking about Victor Caratini there, little backup hitting catcher, but you go, hey, you know what, let's not expose him too much here now. Let's have him keep rolling, and then, if someone could blow the doors off with an offer, and you know what? You can trade the guy and still bring him back as a free agent.
Right, because what they have now with what happened is plausible deniability, right? It's basically like, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Robert Stevenson did it. Which, man, that sucks for Stevenson. He's been so good this year.
Yeah.
It was a terrible pitch,
like I was mentioning before, he's been one of the most reliable arms coming out of the pen, so feel bad for the kid, but Gray did make some uncharacteristic mistakes early on when he hit Austin Nola, and
that's what undid it for him there for sure, was the hit by pitch. Yep.
Yeah, so I think there were some things that Gray did that you don't normally see from him, which I think also played into the decision to pull him. But when he asked them after the game, if he thought he should stay in longer, Gray said it was really tough. He felt good after the first 2 innings and then up through the 4th. And then after that, he didn't feel great. And so that's maybe what the coaches saw. But, I guess you never know in that situation. Obviously, you can't turn back time and figure out what would happen if it went the other way. But, Gray did say himself that he didn't feel that great after the 4th inning. So
he was clearly losing the touch. He had pretty pinpoint command for the first 4 innings, and he was spraying the ball around. So I get it, but I wanted to see him battle through it. I wanted to, I won't out the person, but I was talking to somebody in the press box, and we were both basically saying, I want to see him get out of that mess. He made that mess. I want to see him fully own it one way or the other. And if he does give up the double in the gap, then he gives up the double in the gap. Those runs still aren't earned. His ERA still is what it is, so it's kind of like where the other side, the reward was so potentially big if he gets out of it. So that was one of the very few times this year where I've even bothered to go, not sure I liked what the manager did there.
Yeah, but I will say, though, his fastball had great velocity. His slider looked super sharp.
The slider was ridiculous.
I mean, that slider is gorgeous. His slider makes me feel the same way Austin Gomber's curveball makes me feel. So
and you got them both today.
I know,
yeah.
We got to watch them both. So
totally.
I mean, obviously, I don't think this is going to be a trend for John. I think he's going to be able to, get out there and bounce right back and not, make some of those little mistakes that he made today. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah,
he's going to be fine.
He certainly didn't have a bad outing by any means, right? We're talking about this one little moment that could have gone the other way. And again, that was the majority of the runs that the Padres scored today in both games came on that one pitch from Robert Stevenson that he just left right over the middle.
Right.
Other than that, they did not do much damage to the Rockies pitching out there today, which is interesting. So we will toast our Breck Brews on this day to Colorado Rockies pitching, sort of, at least in the second two games. You know what we mean. So you get a bigger one of these when you come down here to the DNVR bar if you're a member of the family. You got to get it done. Subscribe to the DNVR.com. You get, as I said, discounts on hat shirts and masks, the bigger beer when you come down here to the DNVR bar, access to all the written content. Plus, when you sign up for the annual, we'll ship you a free shirt from the DNVR Locker and a free holistic stick from our friends at Holistic Wellness. Check them out at HOLISTIK wellness.com. And once you've got your free sample just for becoming a member of the DNVR.com, then you can use promo code DNVR30 to get 30% off. Also, save money with our friends at Gabby Insurance. Get a better insurance, easy to remember, easy to use, easy to do, costs you no money, costs you very little time, just puts more dollars back into your bank account. Go to gabi.com/DNVR. You'll spend less than 10 minutes there. They'll give you a bunch of options on your home or car insurance. You're probably paying too much for it. I saved $480 for the year. Our guy, easy for me to say, Eric Weedham, saved over $1,000 for the year. Yeah, you got to check him out. It really is simple, easy, costs you nothing, just saves you money. One last time, it's GABI. Goodness gracious, I'll get it.
Easy for you to say.
What was it again?
GABI.com/DNVR.
See, you gotta have somebody there to pick you up. The way Raimel Tapia and Ryan McMahon were picking people up with their defense there, or rather
picking
the way
people off?
Picking people off. Hey, Padres with some interesting late base running decisions.
That was very strange.
Weird.
That definitely. Yeah, that gave the Rockies all the opportunities in the world because again, the momentum had totally shifted. This did feel like June of 2019 when the wheels completely fell off in that 4-game series where Wade Davis couldn't get 3 outs in a row.
I think
pretty
I
much an
drank
entire
enough
weekend.
Breck Brews to block that out of my mind. I'd totally forgotten about it until you just said that right now. I'm having this horrible recurring nightmare of a series the Rockies should have won that could have changed the entire trajectory of their franchise.
Yes, that was a moment. That was one of the most not toxic, but volatile moments where
it was awful.
I won't say who, but someone slammed a door so loud, and I was like, "This is out of the ordinary."
It was the manager. But I'd never seen Bud Black do that ever before. Not
slammed
before or
it.
Since.
Where he walked off, and we go, "All right, I guess let's talk to the players. This is really dark." And then all of a sudden, we got this jolt smash because he kind of saw, you know what, that might be it for this team, and they did not respond the way they should have.
No.
But this team did. This team again did that thing. Blake Street spoilers. They spoiled the Padres. Could have come in, left with 3 W's, and say, "Hey, look what we did that the Giants couldn't do." Hold on a second.
Yep.
Josh Fuentes.
King of the game, by the way. We got to shout out our draft king of the game. Since I toasted my Breck Brew to the pitchers, we got to remember when you drive in 3 runs in a game where your team wins 3-2.
Yep.
As nice of an afternoon as John Gray had, and as much as he's been a bright spot for the team, you got to give it to Fuentes. Like we talked about, it's been a rough year for him at the plate, but not on this day, Patrick. That's the beauty of baseball, right? You never know I was kind of looking at Elias Diaz and his 0.56 batting average too there with the bases loaded and thinking he had a chance to be hero. You're like, hey.
He battled. He put up a good fight. He
really
took that
did.
pitcher as long as he could go, and unfortunately a catcher caught his ball in the infield.
You know how that happens to you sometimes.
Yeah.
It didn't happen for Elias Diaz to play the hero, or Connor Joe, or Raimel Tapia, who sadly, I must say, no, you got to help me with the caveats on this, did not get on base in the second game of the doubleheader, so he breaks a streak of 10 consecutive games on base. It's, okay, how are we doing this? It's the fourth time this year he started
a game and did not reach base, but he's still on 3 for
complete
full-length
games.
Yeah.
Although he did get an extra at bat there in the 8th, so I maybe just got to eat this one. Should I just say 4?
Oh, that's true.
He did get an extra 8.
We were talking about this ahead of the 8th.
Yeah.
And alas.
Let's call it 4. Okay, so the second game
Still
of
impressive.
the doubleheader, the fourth game all season that Raimel Tapia started and did not get on base in any fashion, which is kind of brutal, especially after having an opportunity to win Game 2 with the bases loaded there late. So not the best of afternoons or series is. Probably one of the worst series of the season for Tapia.
Although he did throw out Caratini.
He did.
In a big moment. So he contributed.
Strange 7-5 force out.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but he did something that helped the Rockies in a defensive, positive way.
That was a big play. That was a big play late.
Yeah.
And the other big defensive play late in the win, of course, the throw out. So Patrick and I, of course, were just bemoaning that the Padres made the second and third out of what it was ostensibly the 9th inning at third base.
Yes.
But the throw and tag from Elias Diaz and Ryan McMahon, that's as perfect as you're ever going to see. McMahon playing some defense out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. The Padres had, a runner at second and third, and then Cronenworth got thrown out on his way home. So
his way home, McMahon. McMahon coming up big on the throw home.
And that was the big review was Elias Diaz blocking too much of home plate? And yeah, he was in front of it, but it wasn't that egregious. And ultimately they go, yeah, all right. And again, in a play like that, you don't know where the line is of like, how much can I get away with? Look, the ball's going to carry you into home plate a little bit there, which is what we saw. It is what it is. I'm sure Padres fans are lighting up Twitter about it, complaining. Deal with it. Deal with it. They're like, man, they got rid of Nolan Arenado. We're going to come in. We're going to sweep these guys. Not exactly.
Not quite so easy.
We still got somebody that can do some big things.
Decent third baseman.
We're still someone that can be who he is. Fuentes being Fuentes.
Fuentes was being Fuentes. McMahon was being McMahon. Yeah, John Gray being John Gray. You also, unfortunately, had Daniel Bard continuing to be Daniel Bard. Now, this was a little bit different. Asked him to work 2 innings.
60 looked good. He looked fine.
He looked fine. He threw, and I even said it when he did it, his first strikeout there in the 7th with the slider that started. It looked like it was a fastball right down the middle and ended up 4 or 5 inches outside. It's one of the best sliders he's thrown all year. And then it sort of comes apart again and blows the save. I hated the decision to throw the fastball with the runner at third, a 2-2 count, 1 out. He's been throwing a great slider. You've got a chance to bury one more, hope the guy chases it, maybe bury 2 of them, and if you walk him, you've set up the double play. But he comes low and into the lefty with a fastball, pulls it through the pulled-in infield, and I just...
And I thought he was going to do the thing that Mark Melancon couldn't do. Well, Mark Melancon did do it. He did still secure the Game 1 win. But it was like, okay, Bard's going to kind of do the same thing and go toe-to-toe with another guy from Colorado, in a sense, right? From Golden, Colorado, right. Mark Melancon, and close this one out. And it didn't work, but that showed a lot of confidence by Buddy in Bard to say, hey, I'm gonna need more than just 3 outs from you against this lineup that was missing Tatis Jr. and Hosmer and Will Myers,
all the good people, 5 of them.
Tony
actually.
Gwynn was not.
Tony
in the
Gwynn
lineup.
wasn't in the lineup.
Not Dave Winfield, Greg Vaughn.
Missing.
But other than that, they had their first team guys.
Yeah.
Other than the 5 key players from their lineup.
They still did
else.
have their top 4 other than Tatis. Obviously, Tatis is usually up there. But they did still have, Grisham, Machado, Pham, but yes, they were. Will Myers, honestly, is the one where the Rockies probably got the biggest break because as much as those other guys are all better players on paper, not at Coors Field, not against the Rockies, they're not. So not seeing Will Myers actually might have been the biggest break of all of it from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah, we were a little bit surprised that this game went down. The 2 games,
right?
Yeah.
Only because, again, this was somewhat of an unprecedented situation where you had so many guys, and the case was getting worse and worse, where Myers was available last night, right? He was in the game.
Yeah.
Came out.
And
so
then they went, he tested positive, like late last night, early, and we were just like, okay.
Maybe if this was against any other team, they would have postponed it. But with the Rockies, who it did
Once
come out
again,
that they were
who
100%.
cares?
They were 100% vaccinated, and now there's been some steps back if they are or not. But this did kind of set some precedent of like, look, there can be stuff going on, but we're still going to play the games regardless. And hey, Padres were without their star guy. Too bad. So sad. Play the games. Even though San Diego's coming to town again later this season.
Yeah.
That was an easy fix. But no, they said play the games.
I want to echo, by the way, the sentiments of a good friend of ours, multiple-time guest here on the podcast, former Colorado Rockies pitcher Mark Knudsen, who said quite plainly and quite frankly on Twitter, and I agree with him 100%, if at this point you are out because you tested positive for COVID, that ought to be treated like an injury that you get when you're away from the team doing something stupid and you don't get your pay and you don't get your thing and your team is just without you and they're just without you. Get your vaccine. That's all. But that's from Mark Knudsen, former Major League Baseball player.
He did also say at the beginning of the pandemic that he had spit into his mask a couple times. So
that's right. Mark
we love
Knudsen,
you, Mark. We love you, Mark.
Famous spitter. Mark Knudsen says, get your vaccine.
It is weird, and I only realized it recently because someone said it on Twitter. Baseball players are the only ones that just spit all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. It's gross.
Imagine
it's
if basketball players. Is that your? Yeah.
I still kind of do it, and I go, "What am I doing?
What's worse?
What am I doing?"
This is kind of the would you rather that we were doing the other day, but now it's what's worse: the spitting or the scratching in baseball.
Spitting.
The spitting.
I'd rather watch the spitting.
Really? In a pandemic world that we're in? Scratch away, man.
Both make me uncomfy.
Outside of the pants scratching.
Kale, do you have a vote? Do we have a tiebreaker?
But wait, hold on. Before you
That's
answer,
a good would you rather.
I hate it when the batters do it and they take like 4 extra seconds. They have to step out of the batter's box and adjust and then get back in the box. Just stay in the box. If you want to speed up the game, stay in the box.
Yeah. And the holding your bat up with your cup. It's just like,
but you do it outside of baseball. Remove the baseball element, scratching or spitting.
Well, then scratching for sure.
Whoa, I'm still going spitting.
And
I'm a spitter.
This might be a good time to transition to a Manscaped read if we have one.
Edit that out,
It's the
please.
Itchy and Spitty show.
Kale, we got to know. What's worse? What's more egregious? You need to have an opinion. This is DNVR. You need a hot take, Kale.
Well, if you're a little too itchy and scratchy, then you might want to get yourself Manscaped.
Oh, we did have a Manscaped read.
Get it done. Get yourself Manscaped. You want to be smooth, fellas. You do not want to be the last guy who's not Manscaped. You don't want to be smelly. You don't want to be grimy. You don't want all that entanglement. It's better for you. It's better for anyone who's taking care of you. And so get Manscaped. You got to use that promo code DNVR. It'll get you 20% off plus free shipping. But get it trimmed up. Get the lawnmower. Get the spritzer. Get the boxers. That one's mostly for you. Those things are comfortable. Got them on right now. Super comfy. When you've got a double header and you know you're going to be down and one of them goes extra innings, you got to have your Manscaped boxers. You got to be Manscaped so that way you're nice and smooth, feeling good, feeling clean, feeling your best. And again, use that promo code DNVR to get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. And I hope that whole situation and today's win put a smile on your face, puts a big smile on my face, puts a big smile on Makayla's face, and our smiles are all brought to you by our friends at Green Mountain Dental, though Makayla had a more recent experience with them, being taken care of like family.
Yes, and I actually see them again on Monday.
There you go.
I've become a frequent flyer at Green Mountain Dental. This time, though, just to get my regular 6-month cleaning. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, Dr. Ben and his amazing staff at Green Mountain Dental filled a couple cavities for me. So, I mean, they do it all. What else can you want from your dentist? They're not only really great at their jobs, but they're also wonderful people. Like Drew said, they treat you like family. Everyone from the front office staff to the dental hygienists and assistants and Dr. Ben himself know your name, they care about you, and they want to make sure that you're always on the same page as they are when it comes to your dental health. So if you have a dentist, go ahead and leave them and go to Dr. Ben. If you don't have a dentist, definitely go to Dr. Ben. Tell them that DNVR sent you. I promise you won't regret it. It has been by far and away the best dental experience of my life. And for once, I can actually say I'm excited to go to the dentist on Monday.
Boom. How about that? Excited.
Endorsement.
Yeah.
I mean, when you love something, you got to talk about it, right?
You got to check them out.
I love them.
Get over there, check them out, just as Makayla did at Green Mountain Dental. Now, Mac, another thing, putting a big smile on your face. You hinted at it earlier, but we didn't really dive into it. Today's starting pitcher for the Colorado Rockies and his gorgeous gombing curveball, Austin Blake Street Gomber.
You love to see it. I also love that nickname.
It's so good.
It's a perfect nickname for the kid. But yes, I mean, curveball is beautiful. He pitched 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 4 hits, 0 earned runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts.
Ugly ass play from Charlie Blackmon in right field.
Oh,
that was rough.
Good.
Chuck, we love you. You're one of the greats. You're probably number 2 all-time Rocky when it's all said and done. That was ugly.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
a great outing from Austin. I think probably one of his best of the season so far. His curveball is disgusting. I don't even want to know what it's like to stand in the box and look at that thing coming at you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can want from the kid. He did a great job. And I think, too, it was great to see, especially after his start in St. Louis, that probably did not go the way that he was hoping it to go. So when you get a performance like this out of the kid, you can't help but feel good for him, because I'm sure that St. Louis performance was weighing a little heavy on his heart. And then he goes out there and puts up a great, in my opinion, a great performance.
No, it was, that April 26th start against San Francisco, in San Francisco, where he didn't finish the second inning.
Right.
Gave up 9 earned runs. I mean, he's been pretty solid since then. Obviously, St. Louis wasn't ideal, but he's still able to go 6 innings. So today, not a true quality start.
Yeah.
Coors Field quality start.
Coors Field quality start.
You take that. And also, too, if you recalculate for the 7-inning game, I mean, I don't. Is it a no-hitter?
How does the math? Yeah.
I know he gave up the 4, but it was only 7 innings.
Right. Yeah.
It was only 7 innings.
You got to translate. You got to carry the 2 and the.
Look out, Ubaldo. Look out.
Look out.
Yeah, he did look great.
And to get into what Makayla's been talking about, this has been a sort of a sub-narrative I've been keeping my eye on throughout the year, because I expect Austin Gomber's curveball to be fantastic in San Francisco and St. Louis and San Diego and these places. Is it going to play at Coors Field? And we've seen a couple of times it's played a little bit, but then he'll hang that 1, right? He's basically hanging 1 a game that's getting hit out. Bader got him in St. Louis. He's had him here at Coors. But today, really didn't have the problem curveball. Not as good as it is on the road. It's never going to be. Folks, the science is there. The research is done. The ball moves differently here. But that doesn't mean that Austin Gomber has to be afraid of his best pitch. And what we saw today, as you were saying, Mac, was somebody confidently pitching with something I'm sure he's been told 100 million times shouldn't work here.
Right.
He's like, whatever, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Works enough for him, and it worked today.
And I think that's what you have to do, right? Like when you're a young kid like Austin is, this is his first full season in majors, right? Because he only did postseason.
He
for
had
Cardinals
like half
year.
Seasons in St. Louis, so this really, his first full season.
Yeah, obviously it's his first time pitching in Coors full time, and so when you're a young kid like that and you're going to a new ballpark, you're gonna obviously have to work through some of those new variables that are being introduced to your game that you wouldn't have had to work through prior. And so like you said, there's all this research, all this data that suggests this curveball is not going to work here. And I think when you have a potential, like something that has potential like that, you have to go for it. Like you just have to try. Like if you're constantly throwing the curveball and you can't get the movement on it and you're hanging it and you're just getting torn up and people are taking you yard, then obviously you need to make some of those adjustments.
Make an adjustment, yeah.
It's not happening frequently enough to where Buddy needs to go out there and be like, all right, kid, look, you gotta figure out a different pitch. Like this is not working. So I'm proud of Austin. I think that's the kind of confidence you have to have in yourself when you're in the situation that he's in. And I don't think you should ever give up on that type of pitch because, Coors Field factored into it or not, like it's still a great pitch. So I think it was awesome to see him have that confidence in himself.
He said he wouldn't give up on the curveball even if he was on the moon.
Right. Yeah.
He's throwing that curveball.
Yeah.
And as you talked about with the home runs, that was my biggest concern is a guy who's a fly ball pitcher coming to Coors Field. And a lot of the talk at the beginning of the season was, but if it's weak contact, it doesn't matter if the ball's in the air or on the ground. Yeah. And so far, that's been true.
Yep.
He's only given up 5 home runs this season in 8 starts for a fly ball pitcher.
Yeah.
He's getting the Ks. He's getting the swords. Yet he struck out the side there. I think it might have been the 4th.
Yeah, 4th or 5th. Yeah, he was real good.
First 2 looking. So, again, he's been impressive. And you know what? And what about this? What if one of the last things the analytics / laundry department took care of on their way out was, what if we did bring in a guy that's got crazy rotation, has crazy spin rate, brought him in as an experiment. Let's see what happens. Okay, they do it. Throw Austin Gomber into the Arenado deal. Again, Rockies need to do some tinkering. They need to do some experimenting. Maybe this is part of it. And if that's true, they're learning a lot. And so far, it's been valuable information.
I totally agree. Like it's so fascinating, especially watching him throw the high curveball that pitchers just like. Adam Wainwright's the only other guy that I can think of off the top of my head who regularly, purposefully throws the pitch that starts above the zone and drops down into it for the high strike right at the. It's a dangerous pitch to throw. It's dangerous, but he's implementing it well. He's locking guys up. You see him start to move at fastballs that are 5 inches above the zone.
Yeah.
Because they don't know if that thing's going to drop or not. And I'm like, you're right, Patrick. I'm like, let's find out. That's what this year is about. And every time Gomber takes the hill, you're like, let's find out more stuff. We're going to learn.
Maybe Austin Gomber can teach Trevor Bauer a thing or two about spin rate.
Hey!
Hey now.
Somebody sent me a great video. I got to find that again. I got to plug the actual person who did it. I just watched it the one time, and I don't know the name of the person, so I'm sorry. And actually, we should have this person on the podcast, on the show, whoever did the video. But talking about how actually, some of the spin rates on fastballs, that having lower spin rates on the fastballs at Coors Field seems to be working a lot better than having higher spin rates on fastballs, and that similar thing may be happening this year with Daniel Bard's slider. Our friend Justin Wick over at Purple Rose, been on the show a couple of times, pitcher, talked a little bit about that, how actually extra spin on Daniel Bard's slider may be what's causing them trouble. So this is all this is all stuff you just need to learn about and find out about. And I'm very curious, but I'll link that video. We'll all watch it sometime. I'll send it to the two of you, and we
the
can
Rockies
see
need to learn about it. Not necessarily
anyone
watching, but the Rockies.
That's the point, right? But Germán Marquez and John Gray are actually two pitchers who have less spin on their fastball than a lot of other guys, but have good, velocity and location with the thing. Well, Marquez, the location this year.
He's supposed to. He's supposed to. Gray,
a little rough,
yes. Marquez, supposed to.
Right. And that's been effective. So, again, and we've always talked about this, finding what does work here and what doesn't, and differentiating those two things. And the Rockies haven't been great at it. But these are the types of things you hope they're learning.
Yes, you would hope.
You do hope that that's the kind of thing that they're learning.
Hopefully their pitching coaches aren't pulling double duty as bat boys or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Sanitizing everything. I got quick good news, bad news.
Good news, bad news.
Good news, Mike Trout has not reached base twice this year. So Tapia's at 4.
Oh, really?
Not too far off.
Tapia still got him in total hits, though, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think that's about right.
Tapia's the next Mike Trout. You
Tapia
heard it here
Trout.
first.
I love this new
Patrick,
game we're playing, Tapia v. Trout.
Well, that's why I had to look that up. I said, let me see what Mike Trout's been doing. You all right there? Kale had the bean burrito. You might have heard that off camera. Bad news is, with today's Game 2 win, the Rockies missed an opportunity to slip into first place for the 2021 first overall pick. Yeah. Detroit.
Dang it.
Detroit won their third game in a row.
What?
Beat the Royals. And had the Rockies lost, they would have moved into sole position of reverse first, I guess.
So the Tigers have pick 1?
Tigers have the 30th best record.
Dang.
Rockies are 29th.
What is going on with the Tigers?
I know that's disappointing.
They've
the
been
Rockies
bad for
won,
a
and
while.
I bummed everyone out. I said it was bad news. I said that was the bad news.
I feel bad for the Tigers. My guy Spenny Torque is with the Tigers, and
Not yet.
It doesn't seem like a great place to
He'll
be.
He's not
Sun
there
Devil.
yet.
Also not doing well though. He's gone like 0 for 30 at the plate in the minors.
Baseball's hard.
It's okay, Spenny Torque. We love you.
Seawolves are struggling right now in Erie, huh?
You know, it's rough out there. It's a tough game. So, all right, I got one last one of these before we wrap it up. Got to thank our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Absolutely making it fun out there. Whether you're actually winning money or you're just enjoying yourself betting on things like who's going to get the most, or not the most strikeouts. I wish you could just do that. Who's going to get more strikeouts? I think that guy. But the over-unders on strikeouts, over-unders on runs scored. Maybe you're going to pick who's going to hit a home run. If you had Josh Fuentes today, you probably made yourself some money. All kinds of fun stuff. Got to grab the thing. It's too far away. My eyesight's not what it used to be. I'm getting old up there.
Let the people know about
Green
UFC
Mountain Dental
262.
also has an optometrist in their office. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got an eye doctor up there too.
I got to get that done. Got to head out to Green Mountain Dental for the teeth and the eyes. UFC 262. Do you have a favorite in this one, Patrick, between Nate Diaz and Michael Chandler?
Why didn't you ask me?
Do you have a favorite in this one, Makayla?
No, I don't know who any of those people are.
I've never heard of either of those people.
Nasty Nate Diaz is I would not. He's one of the scariest human beings in the world.
Yeah.
He may have even gotten scratched from this fight. So I do know Michael Chandler is definitively going to be fighting someone.
That's very scary.
He's definitively going to be fighting somebody, and that is why. That is my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Michael Chandler is 22-5-0, which means he doesn't tie.
Yeah.
He will either be beaten or he will do the beating. And so, yeah, right now he's plus 110. So he's going to be the favorite going against Charles Oliveira. But and so both guys really haven't been preparing for each other, but doesn't matter. The Chand Man, as we all call him in the MMA world.
Yeah.
And I'm in the world.
That's what I was
That's why I know
assume.
to call him the Chand Man.
Yeah.
And that's why that's my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week, plus 110, Michael Chandler. And if I'm wrong, you can put me in a rear naked chokehold. If you see me down at the DNVR
right?
bar. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will take that.
That was a lot of words, none of which I understood.
Rear
I will
naked
reverse
chokehold?
it and put you in a
She's more
triangle
of a
lock.
chicken wing. She know the
Chicken wing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, none of that. We might as well be speaking Chinese because I have no idea what you're saying right now.
Even if you don't understand, though, you can still download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up. You'll turn $1 into $100. All you got to do is pick a main card fighter to win. Place your bet. Watch the fist fly this weekend. It's code DNVR to turn $1 into $100 on select main card fighters for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
I'm gonna put money on Nate Diaz at UFC 263. He's going. He'll be coming up soon. Yeah.
So, guys, now that you said he's really scary and he got scratched, I'm like worried about the guy. Like,
Yeah, no, he's scary. Like
one of those.
he's
what happened?
one of those guys where you go, all right, he's so good at UFCing. It's because like he was kicked out of school in 6th grade, and just he did it before he knew it was
That tracks.
a pro thing.
That tracks.
He's one of those troublemakers, but he's found an outlet.
All right, I want to close out on this. And all the talk this weekend, boy, did I hear all over Twitter and every broadcast and everything that I read about how the San Diego Padres were without their dudes. And shout out to your dude, Austin Gomber, and Spence's dude, Connor Joe, and my dude, Ryan Maltopi didn't have a great.
And John Gray.
My
dude, John Gray.
Josh Fuentes did pretty good.
Josh Fuentes,
Yep,
your dude. So
sure did.
so catch ups on all of our dudes there. But the Rockies, believe it or not, were without their best hitter. That's right. OPS plus is the only stat that matters and nothing else matters. It's the only thing that tells you who the best hitter out there is, especially in a small sample size. I hope you're catching the sarcasm here. But still, their best hitter according to OPS plus is
Tucupita Marcano. I just had to say it.
You had to get one in.
I had to get one Tucu.
It's actually C.J. Cron. The Colorado Rockies have been without their best hitter this season, but also they've been without Brendan Rodgers all season. They've been without Kyle Freeland all season, and so they should be getting all or some or most of those guys back here in the next couple of weeks. An injection of energy. What are the things, Mac, let's start with you, that just in general you're looking forward to? Obviously, Reds coming in over the weekend for this team. Just the things coming up on the horizon here for your Rockies.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm hoping that they can, turn their offense around, start generating some more bigger plays offensively. They play small ball really well. They manage to get on base sometimes through
Put that on a
generalizations.
Put that on the shirt. The Colorado Rockies, they managed to get on base.
Well, we've got the Rakes shirt. Check it out at the DNVRlocker.com. But now we got a Colorado. They get on base sometimes.
Get on base sometimes.
A little clunky, but Eric will make it work.
I love
it. So obviously I would love to see them, get some offense going. The Reds are sitting at 500, so they're not the best, they're not the worst. It's a series that I think the Rockies can take advantage of in some areas. Obviously, German Marquez is going to pitch at some point in this series. Tomorrow?
That's they all got mixed up with the doubleheaders. I think you're right on that.
It's supposed to be tomorrow because Gomber went today.
Right.
So we just reset the rotation. Either way, if he goes tomorrow, the day after that, German's been struggling a little bit lately, so I think this is a great series for him to kind of turn it around. And
yeah, Chi-Chi slated to go tomorrow, Marquez Friday.
Okay, gotcha.
And Saturday, we don't know. It could be Castellani, Jhoulys Chacin is a thing.
Could be you, the fan.
You might be getting a call from Buddy.
You know who it's not going to be? It's going to get a spot start, and that's because this guy's in the rotation, but it's for the other team. It's Jeff Hoffman.
Oh, that's right.
Making his return to Coors Field on Sunday. He's
welcome back,
pretty
Jeff.
Well. He's actually pitched
he's
had
a decent season. Yeah, you kind of hope he just has a nightmare game at Coors Field just for catharsis.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go with hoping that German Marquez can turn the ship around a little bit, make the narrative go back in the positive direction instead of the.
I like that. He needs a good one. Yeah.
Instead of the slightly negative narrative that has started to swirl. So I'm gonna go with more home runs and more German Marquez.
I like that.
I definitely want to see the offense get back on track again. Reverse hangover. This is the hair of the dog.
Maybe the weather had something to do with it. It was dreary and sad and cold.
I agree with Makayla.
Or it could be they're not that good, but it could be the weather. It's probably the weather.
Actually, they're just really bad.
It's the weather.
Also the weather.
But I mean, they're going against Luis Castillo, All-Star.
Very good.
They're going against the most recent guy who threw no hitter, Wade Miley.
Yeah, I'm not scared of
coming up.
But can we? All right, but we got to finish your point, but then. You know
Jeff
exactly
Hoffman.
where I'm going with this. You know exactly the rant I was about to start.
I don't.
No?
I don't know where you're going with this.
What?
Wade Miley should be.
Wade Miley threw a no-hitter. And I root for history, and I like Wade Miley.
We've talked about him as like one of those guys.
That's right.
Go, hey,
I want him
to a
every offseason. Every offseason.
Because he's always signed a one-year deal.
Every year.
He should be, he'll be on the Rockies when he's ready to hang him up.
That's right.
Go, all right, one more year.
At 39, he'll but I asked Makayla about this a couple of weeks ago, and her answer was 2 words. Or is mushball 1 word or 2 words? I don't know. Mushball.
I'm going to go with 2.
1.
Okay. All right.
Let's compromise. It's hyphenated.
Because not only did Wade Miley throw that no-hitter, that same night, Sean Manaea took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Or a perfecto, maybe even.
I think it was the 8th. Did he take it to the 8th?
Into the 8th? Yeah. So it's just like, okay, look, I love pitching. I love great pitching. I love that. But the most no-hitters that have ever been thrown in a year, I think it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing no-hitters.
And we're at 4?
And technically a 5th with Mad Bump?
With Mad
that
Bump?
Doesn't count yet.
So a couple of years ago, I was throwing a gigantic fit about the
lot.
juiced baseball and all these home runs, and the home run totals were absurd. And now I'm looking around at all these low ERAs and these no-hitters and these games with no runs, and I'm like, Can you stop messing with the baseball?
Yeah, no, it's so evident that something happened with the baseball again, except it went in the opposite direction. I don't know how would you make the core heavier? Like, how would it? I don't know how you would do it to make it in the favor of the pitchers, but
they changed the color of the yarn inside, and that just
threw the whole thing off. But no, I never thought I would say this, but I'm kind of getting tired of seeing no hitters. Like, I think they're awesome and they're special, but when you're at 40-ish games so far in the season, you've had 4, technically 5 no-hitters if you count Mad Bums. Like, come on. Something is going on. I think either Major League Baseball tried to compensate for, the you know what I mean?
The juiced
what am I trying
ball,
to say?
yeah,
the juiced
yeah,
ball.
totally.
Like, they wanted to go the opposite direction.
For sure, totally.
Like, all right, we gotta make it up. It's like when umpires throw in a call that's like,
it's a total makeup call with the baseball. That's
exactly right. It's a makeup call, but
right.
with the baseball. Thank you. I'm having trouble articulating myself because I'm really heated about this situation.
It's making 100% sense to me.
It's like it makes it less special. Like, now I'm just like, all right, another week. Who's gonna throw a no-hitter this week? Like, it's just, I don't know. I think something happened with the baseballs. Obviously, I think they're tampered with. But I'm kind of getting tired of it. It's not special anymore, and it's not a matter of when. It's just a matter of who. And that sucks.
It's true.
Let's all pick a rando right now. Just
guy who's going to throw a no-hitter.
Just pick someone to throw a no-hitter.
I'm picking Tyler Glass now because he's on my All-Star team.
That's right. He's on. Yeah, that's right.
And I will shut both of you up for giving me crap for picking him.
I thought it was a good pick. A little off the board, but
I want you to pick a guy who's not an All-Star.
Yeah.
Well, Glass now, I don't think he's been an All-Star yet.
No, but he's going to be.
Yeah, he would have been one last year.
Makayla's got that right. Okay, so I mean, I was gonna pick someone a little more random but you're right. Well, like who's throwing the most? I was trying to think of the guy. Who's the guy for the fish?
Let's play this game.
Random
Sandy
no-hitter.
Alcantara.
No,
okay.
Threw no hitter.
Zach Gallen.
Trevor Rogers.
Zach Gallen.
Jose Fernandez.
No.
Sixto
Marlins. Sanchez.
Anibal Sanchez.
Sixto Sanchez.
No, you got the other. You got the right last name. Anibal. Though I think he may have thrown it. No, he threw it in.
I don't know what team he's with anymore.
Nobody knows what team he's with, but I'm
gonna take rookie Ian Anderson. He was my NL Rookie of the Year pick for Atlanta. I think
Ian Anderson will throw.
He will throw one this season.
Give me Colorado native lefty Marco Gonzalez.
Ooh, Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a rando to throw a no-hitter. A guy who's got some good stuff, pitches in a pitching-friendly environment.
That could be the closest the Rockies come to having another guy throw a no-hitter.
A Colorado native. Kevin Gausman could throw a no-hitter.
Because he's a Colorado native.
Yeah, right.
The Mariners are Seattle's natural, are the Rockies'
natural rival.
Natural AL
means.
rival.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And also his father, Frank Gonzalez, is a coach within the organization.
That's right.
He is.
And has been so for a while. So
that's right.
We'll take that.
Okay.
Rockies fans
I'm over
can celebrate.
Stop throwing no-hitters. I want to see
I'm not. Come on. A no-hitter's still crazy special.
Stop throwing no-hitters.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool when it happens and it's like history. You know, like the one for the Orioles was the first no-hitter in 59 years. Obviously, when that happened for the Padres, I'm blanking on names right now. First one ever, and he was a San Diego native. So
True.
I mean,
but if like 14 no-hitters are thrown this year, is that going to make the Joe Musgrove one look a little less?
Yeah, it kind of diminishes. It takes away from the coolness.
No, it's still rare in the grand scheme.
I mean,
even all right, if there are 10 thrown this year, we're gonna still only remember 6. And that's fine, but it still doesn't take away the specialness of it. You're not. Right. I know what you're saying, Makayla. You're like, well, it loses some of it.
It's like one of the hardest things to do in baseball, and they're making it look like I could go out there and throw a no-hitter.
Here's the equivalency. Bill Gates.
Makayla's got a wicked slider.
It's obviously exaggeration, but like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce.
Oh, brutal.
And you go, oh my gosh, it diminishes how much Bill Gates is worth.
Really? There was a headline that it was like their kids are only getting $10 million.
Jeff Bezos is getting a divorce. Really? It doesn't diminish anything. So you know what? Give me 10 no-hitters this year.
I want to watch people go yard. I like home runs. I'd rather have it the other way than the no-hitter way.
Oh, that's an interesting...
All right, Makayla, let me float this by you.
I don't like this dilemma at all.
Let me float this by you.
Offense, always.
Let's go wide range real quick here. Cricket is a sport that takes days, right?
Yeah.
Cricket?
Cricket.
You got to know what a crumpet is before you understand cricket.
Cricket.
I don't understand cricket, but I know what it is.
You need a wicket. You need a whole thing. And they've actually reduced it so that it's like a 3-hour game where they've condensed it. And people are flocking to that because they go, yeah, I can deal with this. It's not a full weekend event. What if baseball did something where they essentially played a series in a day? 2 7-inning doubleheaders, and Game 3 is a home run derby.
No,
you can shorten the length. How crazy or how awful is that?
Let's not do that.
I'm not saying
we got to bring back my old.
Do that.
I had we got to get Solace Meds to sponsor my old bit that I got to bring back called Purple Hazed Ideas. I stole it from Bill Simmons. You remember when Bill Simmons used to do half-baked ideas? I had Purple Hazed Ideas for out here. That sir was a full-blown perfect purple hazed idea. Just like it's far enough out there that you're out of your mind. At the same time, it makes too much sense to totally ignore.
You could reduce the season to 4 months.
Max, like
stop
you know messing
what, though?
with baseball.
This season, I never thought this would ever come out of my mouth. This season has made me lean towards accepting a universal DH. I used to be so anti-universal DH. I didn't want to see it. I hated the idea of it, but this season, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I would mind a DH in the National League, especially since Taijuan Walker yesterday just stood at the plate and watched 3 heaters on a rope just sail right by him.
Why do you want to see? Why do you want to see pitchers hit if they bat 0-90?
I know.
Why is that better than?
It's tradition.
Albert Pujols.
Yeah,
it's tradition.
I know.
I'm sorry.
We're about to
I'm not trying to digress.
Makayla's like, so.
But I'm just saying the lack of offense this season has been so frustrating and has made me go towards the side of almost wanting a DH in the National League. And that is something I never thought I'd say.
You're not there yet?
I was so far polarized on this topic where I was like, never, ever.
Come over.
But I'm slowly working my way over to that side because I'm so tired of the lack of offense this season. So that's how frustrated I am with this.
Let the process play out. Trust the process.
Although watching Taijuan Walker take 3 heaters on a rope was kind of funny.
Looked like Henry Rowan Gardner standing up there at the plate. It's like, come on.
He just like stood there and he's like, I'm not even gonna swing. I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna take this and go sit back in the dugout.
Shouldn't even have brought the bat with him to the plate.
Nope.
What was
just
the
walk up there?
Why was
he
holding it on the correct end?
Right.
Just turn it upside down.
Hang it behind your head. Just hang it back.
Go full Larry Walker. Hold it by the barrel.
Totally.
Put your helmet on backwards.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Love that.
Well,
leave the batting gloves in your pocket.
The Colorado Rockies were not swept.
They were not.
They did not lose their 7th game in a row.
Did not.
They will continue to not be especially good this season. At the same time, they messed up the Padres' day.
That's not bad.
You take it.
We'll take what we can get.
Nice moment for Josh Fuentes. You do got to be happy for him on the day.
It's great.
In the grand scheme of things, man. He needed that. We'll see if it can spark a little run for him. He's fighting for a spot, man. We were talking about with the roster crunch when Rogers and Cronin, these guys come back. Fuentes just haven't been hitting. The career starts to hang in the balance at some point.
Could be making a trip to Albuquerque.
Yep. So you see him do that. On the flip side of things that are more forward-thinking good, Austin Gomber, John Gray, you'll take that every time.
Absolutely.
So, congratulations to the Rockies.
Nope, not quite.
We got to do this 120 more times this year, baby.
It's going to be a long season.
Joe.
Thank you all for hanging out with us for the Connor Joe podcast. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves as much as we have. Make sure you're following us on social media at Drew Creasman, at Patrick Lyons, at Makayla E. Perkins, and of course at DNVR_Rockies. You got to check out the TikTok, the Instagram, I don't know any other social media. The Facebook. That's right. I know. I see all you Facebook people out there. Hang out with us. Check it out. Make sure you're subscribed to the DNVR.com so you do get access to all of the written content. My 100% foolproof plan on how to fix the Colorado Rockies. All of that stuff. The discounts on the hats, the shirts, the masks, the bigger beer when you come down here to the DNVR bar, the access to the Discord channel so you can be chatting with us 24/7. And just continuing to be the absolute best baseball fans in the world out there. I promise you, we will continue to be absolutely Patrick Lyons, Makayla Perkins, and Drew Creasman in here. Oh, and Kale Sormo, Tech Boy. I didn't give you enough shout-outs. I can't
Boy?
see him today.
Tech Boy's tired. He's ready to go home.
He's back behind. We're all ready to pack it in after a long day of baseball. But thank you for joining us and being awesome. We'll see you next time at the ballpark.
As have scored more than Padres.